it is only sensible that they respect court rulings. It is in the public domain that the Supreme Court declared that William Ruto was democratically elected as the people's president of the Republic of Kenya.
He's not a product of the courts.
Listen, he is a product of the court because
the court only just
listen, I'm the one speaking.
Yes,
and if there is any illegality in my statement, I stand liable.
Yes.
I have said, and I will repeat,
yes. President
William Ruto is a product of the long chain, a court declaration. Because after the elections were contested, the opponents went to court. It is the final arbiter. The court declared that he was democratically elected. I'm just trying to say it is in the right sense that respect court rulings. Had we not respected, or the dissenting Kenyans not respected the court ruling, we would be in a state of anarchy at the moment. So, when Raila tells the people, the employers, to defy deductions to the housing levy, yes, it is right. Are we going to listen to the court, to the executive? I mean, I had said in my initial statement that we are in a very precarious situation, a situation where the executive is behaving like a narcissistic government. They do not care for anything. This government neither respects the institutions that acts on directly delegated power from the people of Kenya.
Yes.
That is parliament. The executive, under the through the ministers, do not honor invitation to appear before the Senate. When the Senate calls you to grill you over a particular issue of public interest, it is not the Senate grilling you. It is the people of Kenya grilling you through the Senate or parliament. There, yesterday, Juguna Ndumu, who is at the center of the cost of living, the Prime Cabinet Secretary, Musalia Mudavadi, they all dodged, and the CS Energy,
Sure.
they dodged the Senate committee. These people are preferring even impeachment charges against them, because once you don't respect the independent tribunals and institutions that are directly mandated by the people of Kenya, you are just fighting the constitution, which is the supreme law of the land. We have the courts. The judiciary draws these powers directly from the people. The moment the executive, which is a separate arm of the government, wants to twist, control, and be the decision maker in a situation where these people work hand in hand, where are we headed to? So if the courts have said that the deductions are illegal, who is the president to come and issue fresh orders that the deductions continue? And look at even the, I'm speaking of this in regards to also the just contested the SHIF,
yes,
the digital healthcare, yes, and the primary healthcare schemes. All these have been put on hold by the High Court of Kenya, pending its hearing in February. The president redirected the CS Health to ensure that by December, all these proposals, the public gives their proposals so that it, by January 1st, the healthcare scheme is enacted.
Yes.
Don't you see the situation I'm trying to talk about, where the executive is working on its own, the judiciary is on its own? Then what are they telling the people of Kenya? That you see there is no government here, you are on your own. That is not the case. So once the court has pronounced itself that the deductions are illegal, the statement ends there. They can only contest it in a court of law, not by giving some authoritative declarations that seems to contravene the directives given by the court. The courts do not act on a hearsay. The courts act on the legality, the constitutionality of any piece of legislation, and the fairness that it serves the people of Kenya.
Does it?
Yeah, so it is only right that these fundamental rights and freedoms are protected. The only protector here, yes, at this current situation, yes, is the courts, because yes, Parliament has failed. Parliament has failed its oversight roles. It is nowhere. Even the county governments have failed us, because yes, the primary role of a legislature is to oversight, propose legislations and enacted into law. And not working with the government does not mean that everything the executive proposes, it is yes and yes sir response. Castro talked of something like the proposals that have been made by the government. In fact, he was contradicting himself, because he said at first that all the proposals that have been made by the executive are for the benefit of the people of Kenya. I wanted, and that's why I cautioned Castro to avoid pedestrian argument. I want him to be very clear and bold on every particular provision that this government has proposed, be it on cost of living, be it on, the cost of living is the blanket because it affects it is about the services, that the cost of, or the amount of money that we give out to acquire services.
Yes.
Or buy goods. So it touches on everything. I wanted him to be clear on the proposal that the executive has given as far as education is concerned, as far as health is concerned, as far as public security is concerned. Then tell us all these proposals are in the interest of the people of Kenya. It is pedestrian for him to sit here and tell, not all listeners or our viewers have the acumen to determine, to get these terms directly. You have to digest it to them in a language they best understand. So tell them exactly the piece of legislation and translate it how it affects the cost of living. When I say it affects, it's not negative. Even positively it can impact. So that is a conversation that has been engendered by the Kenya Kwanza MPs. And yes. I'm seeing you behaving like the same. You have to take an independent position as yes. a young man of this country. I told you Castro is not yes. a pedestrian name that you can come and afford to lie to the people of Kenya.
This is Sankara.
Yes.
This is Sankara. Everything that I've been telling you.
Sankara. Sorry, Castro. Just